Recording is
I
on.
was browsing through.
Okay, good, good, good. So on our last class, what did we learn on our last class?
Um, we talked about the Python printing statements.
Okay, printing statement. That's what we talk on.
Yeah, and we looked at the types of printing. Talked about the F format printing, and you explain what the Python printing statements is about. And we look at some example of sum, subtraction, division, multiplication, and we
Okay.
we
Hello.
also, yeah, hello.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, and also like the other method that I think the F string, which of course you said it kind of difficult. We looked at it again and how we can use the sum, subtraction, and multiplication, and at the end of the day, we'll be able to derive the same answers as to that of what we did earlier. But even though like I was planning to even ask you on this F string formatting, because I watched the video. I was going to what you did, but this F string that you said, it's kind of a difficult. I tried to understand it, but I was having lapses there. Is it like I can go with the first method, or I have to know it compulsory? 'Cause I try to look over it to like try to to
I
have
want
a,
you to know all of them. I want you to know all of them so that when you are working with your project, you will
yeah.
not find it difficult.
Okay, but if I can ask, I just want you to throw a quick light on it because I was finding it difficult to understand it. Let me don't lie to you. I just want to give like just
Okay.
a brief explanation quickly, then we can move on. I won't have a problem with that.
Okay. Okay. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, because like
No
actually,
problem.
let me don't lie. Since I started doing my studies and going through the videos now, I'm seeing what you have been explaining, and the whole course is trying to make kind of a much sense to me now. Because even though I didn't do that kind of an in-depth research, but I was going through the video the videos using my phone, and I was going through the notes that I was making. Now I'm getting what you were explaining, and it's making sense to me now. Actually,
Okay. Good. It's fine. It's fine. Now, let me just throw more light again, and so
okay,
that you will be able to refresh the difference between um, the F string format and the normal printing format.
okay,
Okay, so
okay, Mr.
let me share
Moses,
my.
Mr. Moses, can you just like give me like 30 seconds? Let me connect my computer because my internet connection is kind of a bad, so I want to transfer to the Wi-Fi here to connect my computer.
Okay, okay, no
I was
problem.
having
You
problem
can.
of connecting. That's why I didn't connect to the class quickly. I was trying to connect my machine. I just connected using my phone, but I want to use my computer laptop. Mm. Okay,
I've
I've
now
now
connected
connected
to
to
my
my.
part.
Oh,
This is
okay.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. I've now connected to my
Okay.
part. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now let's start working. Let's start working. So I've created three variable.
Okay.
I've created three variable. Num is equal to 19. Num1
Mm-hmm.
is equal to 34, and num2 is equal to 50. So this is how we will work on them and see our results. Okay. And now watch me. So I'm going to create a variable called sum. I'll create it in a separate tab so that you will not be confused. I'll create it in a
Okay.
separate tab, and I'm going to sum num plus num num2. Okay, I'm coming. Let me just copy this, and so that I should not waste time. Okay, just for me to add the plus. I'll move this up and remove this and remove this. So now this sum have automatically created a memory location which these three numbers will be added and stored in sum. So when I run the sum, it will give me the result, right?
Okay.
Right? Look
Yeah.
at sum. When I print out sum, you will see the results, and this is the result 103. Now I want it to be more explainable. Okay, I
Okay.
want to print it out more in a more explainable way for us to understand. Now I'm going to use our normal printing statement which we normally use to print. Okay, and now I will print out. I will say print sum. This is what we normally use, right? Print sum.
Yeah.
Hello. This is not what
Yeah. I'm
this is
hearing you,
what
sir.
we normally use. Print.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we normally use. Print, right? Now we
Yeah.
want to use a printing statement, which is the F string printing statement. And for us to do it, we are going to say print, then we call our F string. Now this F string, if you are using the double quote and you have a place where you are going to write a quote inside your double quote, the quote you will use is a single quote. You remember what I said?
Yeah. 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 So if you're using a double quote, then
So
here
we
you'll
are
be using a single quote. Then if you're using a single quote, then
inside.
in the string, yeah, inside you'll be using a single quote. It should not be the same
Yes.
quote.
So now, yes, should not be the same quote. So in printing format, F string format. So I want to show you this and how we can print. Now, first of all, I will write I will write it like a statement. I want it to produce it as a statement, which we say the sum of num and the sum of one num2 is the result. I hope you
Okay.
understand what I want to do now. And num
Yeah, I'm seeing.
num and num 2 is the sum is the sum of is the sum of then I'll call in the sum. Okay, now look at it. This is our final output. He said the sum of 19, 34, 50 is the sum of 103.
Three.
Did you see it come out in a statement? In a statement. So I hope you understand this now.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
you understand this now. So
Yeah.
this norm is being replaced because we already declared a variable here, and which that carries the number, and automatically when we pass in the number automatically appears.
Change
Okay,
to the value,
so
right?
and remember, yes, and remember, if we want to use string here, we must make sure that it is a single
See,
quote. So
yeah.
I want to show you
Because
an example.
the F quote is a double quote, right?
Yes, so once I run it, it will run. Okay, now look at it. When I use double quotes, it will not run. An error will pop out, and which will make
Mhm.
our code not working functional.
Okay.
So look at it, and did you
Fix
see
that.
it expected that this? So this is our error. So, and I hope you understand what I just explained. So look at the other type of printing statement, and which I'm going to work on now for you to see. So now the normal printing statements, we can do it like this. And so look at it. So we are going to say print. They all use print, but one use F at the beginning, but one did not use F at the beginning. And
Okay.
we want to write in this. We want to write in this. So I have to copy this and copy this. Let me copy this. I'm using it as my example. So now in our normal fprint, you see that I call in the num1, num2, num3. So this printing format, I'm not going to call in the num1 and 2. I'm not going to call them. Not going to call them. So I'm going to do it like this, and I'm going to attach a dot, then pass in formats,
Yeah.
coming
Here
dot
is where
formats.
I was kind of lost.
Then I will call my num. So okay, now for us, I want to make you understand that once you put a bracket where the num will be stored,
Mm-hmm.
this is the place where we write in the num, and which the num will be stored. We have created a memory location, and at the end of it, we are going to use a method called the dot format. And this dot format, so we are going to pass all these value or all
Mm-hmm.
these variables which you want to pass in here before inside here. I hope you understand.
Yeah, I'm understanding.
Did you see normally when we are working on the F string, we pass in
Yeah.
this norm,
Mm-hmm.
but now we do not pass in anything norm inside here. We create an empty braces. So now at the end of it, we will now pass in the norm, the norm, the norm, and we're going to pass in the norm and the norm one. We are going to pass in the norm one, and we are going to pass in the norm two. So and we are going to pass in the sum. I hope you understand what we just did,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to run it now. So this is our final output. I hope this is clear to you.
Okay. Yeah, because I was the question I
Did
was
you see?
asking myself of this empty this curly bracket, this curly brackets that I'm seeing, this empty
Yes,
curly brackets. Yes, I was trying to ask what's
yes.
their meaning here because they are empty. I'm not seeing anything there. So that was the question
Their
I was
meaning
asking
is that
myself.
normally, okay, normally, when you are
Yeah.
using the dot format, you have to create an empty braces where you want to store values. Then pass in the variable name inside the dot format. I hope this is clear to you.
Yeah.
So, and this is easy, and I want you to understand it. And when you are working with programs like programs, when I say programs like multiple lines of code, you might decide to choose what type of printing format you want to use for your audience, for those who will watch your code and all. Okay, so I think this is clear to you, and I'll stop sharing, right,
Okay.
and focus on today. So, and I want you to know that we are going to start on a new topic, which is function. Have you heard about function in Python programming language before?
Function. I've
Yes.
done function in mathematics, but I don't know if it's the same function to that of Python.
Okay, let me tell you, function and let's say Python and mathematics are similar, though, and are similar. As a computer scientist, back then in school, you have a lot of mathematics and physics to do and physics to work. So, and it's a foundation for you to have knowledge in Python programming language. When you understand mathematics, definitely when they are teaching you Python, you have the good understanding. And I believe you have worked on function before in mathematics. So I want to tell you that the one you work on mathematics is not the same with the Python programming language. So Python programming language, when you talk about function, it's talking about how, okay, have you see how a calculator works?
Yeah.
Okay, now when you add 2 plus 2 in calculator and you go to plus, automatically the system recognize that you want to add two numbers, right?
Yeah.
So that plus That plus button is a function. I hope you understand.
Yeah, I understand.
So now this is how we want to create. We want to create a function. We will see how we can create our own function. Okay, if you see the calculator, you see a calculator have its own function like the trigonometry button, which automatically when you include the number, you go to the trigonometry function like the cosine. Once you click the cosine, it will recognize that you want to perform a cosine calculation. If you click the tan, the system will recognize that you want to work on tan. So those
Yeah.
button, they are code that is written at the back of the program. It's just the back end. But the button is the front end, which you know that, hey, turn, this is the button of the turn, and you can perform it by clicking it. The calculator would understand. But there's a code at the back end that runs. Okay. I believe you
Okay.
understand what I'm explaining.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So have you seen people working on a website before?
Working on a
Have you
website.
seen people website?
No, me,
No
I've
or
just been
yes?
seeing websites, but no, I've never seen people working on a
Okay,
website.
okay. You have been playing with websites, right?
Yeah,
Okay, now have you ever imagined that the user interaction, when you see a website, you see the fine design, but when you click button, it responds to you. Do you imagine that what makes these buttons work? Have you ever imagined what how did they create these functionalities in
yeah,
this website, this particular website? Have you ever imagined?
yeah, I have.
Okay, good. Now, when we are talking about web design, when web design, we have the back end, the front end, we have the full stack developers, and the user interaction matters a lot. The graphics interface, these are the front end, and there are people who are who specialize mainly on the design of the front end, and there are people who are focusing on the back end. And on the back end, these are written code which you will not see, but at the front end you will see the how the functionality is. And I want you to know that these are functions. These are functions. The backend make up the function of a website. And I want you to also know that uh, Python has um, a function which you can create, and to perform any calculation, to perform anything, you can call it multiple times. Multiple times. As far you have created it and you have run it, when you are coding, you can call on it anytime, anywhere when you are coding. Okay. I believe this is more understandable to you. And okay, now I'll stop sharing my screen. I want you to search for Python function for me. So let's work together.
Okay.
Okay. Are you seeing my screen? Hello.
I can see I can see your screen, but I want you to
Okay.
search for Python function.
Python functions. Why?
Yes.
Okay. You can see my screen.
So the W3 school, click on the W3 school.
Yeah, I've clicked on the
And
W3
so
school.
let's read. So you can start reading. So
A
read for
function
us.
is a function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. You can pass data known as parameters into a function. A function can return data as a result. Creating a
Okay.
function. In Python, a function is defined using the def keyword. Example, def my, is this hashtag or what?
Underscore.
Hashtag function underscore? Okay, underscore function.
Yes.
Print hello from a function. Then calling a function. To call a function, use the function name followed by parentheses. Example, def my underscore function, then bracket open and close. Then print bracket, then you open a double quote, hello from a function. Double quote, you close the bracket. Then we have arguments. Information can be passed into functions as arguments. Arguments are specified after the function name. Inside the parentheses, you can add as many arguments as you want. Just separate them with a comma. The following example has a function with one argument in bracket fname. When the function is called, we pass along a first name, which is used inside the function to print the full name. Then there is the example. Arguments are often shortened to args in Python documentations. Then we have parameters or arguments, question mark. The terms parameter and argument can be used for the same thing. Information that are passed into a function. From a function's perspective, a parameter is a variable listed inside the parentheses in the function definition. An argument is a value that is sent to the function when it is called. Then coming to number of arguments. By default, a function must be called with the correct number of arguments, meaning that if your function expects two arguments, you have to call the function with two arguments, not more and not less. Then there follows the example. If you try to call the function with one or three arguments, you will get an error. We have arbitrary arguments, which is
Okay, you can
star
stop.
x.
Stop.
Okay.
You can stop. So you have learnt about parameters and arguments, and you have talked about function. So I want you to note this function, and you just explained, but let me give you my own explanation. A function is a block of organized code written to carry out a specific task. One. So a function help you to break our program into smaller and module chunk of okay. And
Okay.
information can be passed into a function as argument. You can pass information to a function as an argument. Parameters are specified after the function name inside the parentheses. Inside the parentheses. We can add as many parentheses as we want. Parentheses must be separated with a comma. A function may or may not return data. In Python, a function defined using the keyword def. So everything you just read, I just break down the summary for you so that it will stick to you. Okay? And if
Okay.
you find it difficult, you go back to our video and listen or have a good understanding of what I said. Okay? And
Okay.
now I want to explain the difference between parameters and arguments. Okay?
Okay.
Parameters is a variable listed inside the parentheses in a function definition. Is in a function definition. So an
Again,
argument,
come again because I'm making notes.
a a parameter,
Parameter.
a
Yeah.
parameter is a variable listed inside the parentheses in the function definition. So an argument is the value that is sent to the function when it is called. So this is the definition of parentheses, parameters, and arguments. And I believe you should take note of it, and you should take note of it. So, and we are going to move now. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen. Then you have seen a sample of how you can create a function. And we say we create a function using the def. So the def to Python is a keyword which the Python recognize it as a function. Once you create a def, automatically the system recognize it function as a function. So let's see a simple function. Let's create a simple function. And so first of all, I'm creating def. I'm giving it a variable a function name called my phones. Now I don't want to pass in any parameters. I don't want to pass in any parameters. So this is where we pass in our parameters and all. So I don't want to pass in. So I want to just print a simple function that we welcome us or say hello to Python lovers. So and it just like we want it to greet or welcome us. Okay, now let me create a print statement. Print, then I'm going to say hello Python. Let me say Python gurus. Okay, now this is a simple function I've just created. I'm going to run it now. If I want to print, I want to print out my function, I will call the def function. Remember, remember when we are printing, we use a print function. Did I tell you about this at the beginning of our class? That this is a function that output our result, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now we created our own function. This is our function. Now we want to call our own function. Did you see it's similar to what I told you about the print function? Did you see it's similar?
Yeah.
This is our own function created. I hope you understand what I am trying to explain.
Yeah,
Oh no.
I'm getting it.
Okay, now let me recap again. This is an inbuilt function which is print. Which is this is print is an inbuilt function that comes. Now we created our own function called my function. Now this my function and is our own. It did not come as an inbuilt. Okay, so this is how we can create a function. Now let's run it and you see the function, and the function said hello Python gurus. I hope you understand how we created this simple function.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
getting you, sir.
good, good, good. Okay, now we want to um, print users details. We want to create a function that prints out users details and user details. Okay, now let's create a function def, and I'm going to name it details and details. I'm naming it details and name user id and country. So, and this is the parameter I've just passed inside it, and we want to print this user details. Now we have created our samples and we want to print it out like this. Print, and we are going to print name, the name, and we are going to say, okay, we are going to call our name. This is our name. And so let me just copy this, and I'm going to change it to user ID, to user ID. So, and I'm going to paste it to country, to country, country. Okay. Now,
Okay.
now it's giving me an error. Why? is because I did not separate it with column, with comma. Sorry, not column, comma. So I want to separate it with comma so that it will
Okay,
avoid
that's why they said
error.
that's why they said it is separated by comma.
Yes, that's it. So and and I want to run it. So we have created a simple details, and now these details we are going to pass in our argument. Okay, now let's see. I want to print our details normally. It will not give me any result because if you see, I pass in the parameters, right? I pass in the parameters, right? Name, user ID, and country, right?
Yeah.
But I've not passed in the name I want it to pass. I've not passed in the user ID. This is where I'm going to pass in the arguments. I hope you understand. Now I'm going to pass in the name, and the name is let me say Abu. Let me pass in Abu. And I'm coming. I'm going to pass in Abu, and I'm going to pass in the user ID and user IDs to as CM Tech 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, see this is your user ID, and I'm going to pass in um, the country, and which country are you from again?
Just put Sierra Leone, or just put
Sierra
a
Leone.
country that is simple to spell because Sierra Leone is long. Ghana, Nigeria, and all.
Okay, okay, let me just put Ghana. Okay, now
Okay.
so we are passing a argument, and so this is our results. Did you see when I call in without putting an argument and when I put in an argument?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the difference? When I did
Yeah.
not put an argument, it gave me an error because I have a parameters which I have not include an argument to. So when I include the argument, it gave me my results. I hope you understand.
Yes, sir.
So this is clear to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and let's see how we can, okay, now let's see how we can square. Let's create a function how we can square. A function to square, okay? Function to square numbers. Okay, function to square numbers, and I'm going to create a function. I'm going to name it function def. Okay, def. I'm going to call it square, the square, and I'm going to pass in n. So we have just created a function and we pass in a parameter n. Now we are going to create a variable called n, and we are going to say n times n. N times n. Now, when we talk about square, what is this? When they say square, is what do you understand by square?
Um, square in diagram or square in numbers. Square in numbers is
Numbers.
trying to okay, it's trying to tell you that the number being appeared by the number of the power.
Okay, good. Now, this is how we can create a number, a square, and this is how we can create a square. Now, I'm going to use return. Return. Don't be confused with this return, okay? And don't
Okay.
be confused. return is similar to print. Okay, now I will show you this. Now we have run our function and we are going to call it our variable, our function name. This is our function name and we are going to pass in 20. I hope you understand what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm going to pass in this. And did you see our results? It
Yeah.
has already scored it for us. So, and it has scored it for us 400. This is a simple function. So now I want to change this return to print. So print and return are similar. They are the same. Okay, they are the same, not similar. They are the same. And now I want to run it. I want to run this. It still give us the same output, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to know that you can use return or you can use print. So I've introduced you to return now in function. So I hope when you see return in programs, you will understand that return is same with print. Okay, and we
Okay.
have return, and this is it. And now we can score any number. So look at it. This is how function can be used multiple times. Did you see we have already created a function? It's just for us to input any numbers we want to input. It will automatically calculate it for us. Did you see? Now I
Wow.
want to change it now to nine on 90, and it you see it will calculate it for us. This is how function you can when you are working with code, you can just use function square and passing your parameter. It will make a calculation for you. So and I want you to know that function is more important in our coding. It help you to minimize your lines of code. It help you to um work in a better way and in a better format, in a readable pattern. Okay,
Okay, sir.
I hope you understand.
Yeah, I understand.
So and so we are going to also look out okay, have I taught you about odd and even number? Have we checked about odd and even number in our
No.
previous class? I remember we talked about odd and even number when we calculate for odd
Mm,
numbers and even numbers,
yeah,
right?
there is one time we talked about that. Yeah, now I recall. I
Okay,
think that
now
was
so we
our
want
second
to
class.
okay now we want to create a function that will create an even or odd number. It will check for it. It will check if a particular function is an even or odd number. So now for us to do it, and we are going to create a function called def even underscore odd. So we are going to say def and we are going to say even underscore odd. Okay, and we are going to pass in our parameter num, and this will test for even and odd number. And now for us to test for even and odd number, we are going to say if num modulus 2. I told you that modulus is a remainder. So if num, when when you insert num is an unknown number. We just name it as num. We don't know the number, but we are telling the program that if an unknown number came in, after you dividing it and it gave us a remainder, it's an odd number. But if it did not give us a remainder, it's an even number. So now we are testing it like this and we are saying norm modulus. So our percentage sign is modulus, and we are going to divide the number by 2 and to check for the remainder, and we are going to say if it's equal to, and remember our equal to is 2 double equal to. So
Yeah.
and equal to 0, if it's equal to 0, it should print, we are going to give in, we are going to give it a condition. And first we are going to say it should print that the norm is an even number. We are going to say print norm, comma, and is even number. And now we are going to press enter. We are going to say s. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are going to check now. Now remember we talked about indentation at the beginning. This is showing that our work is not properly indexed, and we should index it very well. So now for me to index it, I will have to move it backward. Automatically the work is now indexed very well. So I'm going to print, I'm going to print out norm, comma, is odd, is odd number. So we have created this, and now, so now, oh, now we are going to pass in. Okay, and Abo, are you with me?
Yes, sir. I'm with you, sir.
You are with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we are going to pass in um, the odd number. So I'm going to run it. This is our function we have created. So we are going to pass in the even number, which is odd or even number. We are going to pass in the even number, which is 4. And let's pass it 6 to check if it's an even number. Now I'm going to run it. You see, it says
Yeah.
6 is an even number. 6 is an even. So let's pass in 3. 3 is an odd number. Did you see it?
Yeah.
So this is how the condition work. I hope today was nice, and I hope you have been enjoying this class.
Yeah.
Okay, and so far we have just one topic left in Python programming before we can move to the data analysis part, which is class. And we are going to look on, um, we are going to look on, okay, some other function in, we are going to look some other functions, okay. We
In
are going to
Python.
look on other function in Python. We are going to look on other functions. So on our next class, we look more of it, okay, more of
Okay.
it, we'll look more of it, and we are almost through. we are almost through, though we are almost through. And we are talking about class on we are talking about class after Python programming language. So far so good. And what have you learned from Python from the beginning? What do you understand? How is it impactful to you?
Yeah, from what I've understand about Python in short, I see Python as kind of a programming contest.
Okay,
This is like it makes I don't even know how to put it. Like when making something like a programming in a simple aspect, because like for example, dealing with this function, you see like for example here, instead of for us to be having the time of either to determine number three being an even or odd number, we can just run a code, then automatically it will tell us whether three is an odd or even number. So it makes the daily life the daily life working becomes simpler or easier.
good, good,
Yeah.
good. Thank
So
you
that's
for
what that
just
yeah, it's just like
okay.
I'm
Continue.
finding a kind of a little bit of how to put it in context, but that's how I've been understanding Python because looking at most of this thing, it's kind of a shortcut of doing things in life.
Okay, and okay, and at the beginning, were you finding it difficult?
Yeah, at the beginning I was finding it difficult. I can lie. At the beginning, like I was, is this something that I'm going to be there to able to comprehend? But as we were going, I was getting a better comprehension of what we're doing. But as of now, I'm interested. I'm like kind of a fully interested in the thing. But when we started earlier, it was kind of a Greek to me.
Okay, thank you for today, and I, ac- I acknowledge that you are finding it easier to learn. Okay, do have a nice day and have a great day till our next class on Sunday, and we are going to meet and talk more on function.
Oh,
So do have a
okay.
nice day and have a
You
great
said
day.
the other types of function, right? The next topic, because maybe I'll be
We
browsing
are
to
going
and
to
see.
continue from function. We are going to
Okay,
continue from function.
okay,
Okay,
no
do have a
problem,
nice
no
day.
problems. Okay, sir.
So good night.